Hey guys, welcome back to Gaming Over 50, where we play games just like everybody else, only maybe a little slower. Anyway, this is RimWorld. Um, it's got some similarities, I suppose, between doing Project Zomboid, my very first videos, and then the Kenshi videos. Um, Not a whole lot in common, but there are a few things. Like Kenshi has storage that is for certain things. That's all their storage are. I mean, they have the general storage chests, but once you put stuff in there, a lot of times your players won't, or your pawns won't grab stuff out of it, or at least certain things out of it. This is kind of like that, where it's has storage, especially if you do use mods. You have storage for certain items, specifically certain items, and then you have storage areas that you can create. I don't know what you'd really call this type of game. I call it like an AI game where it's going to do what or you start off, people are doing nothing, and then you assign them jobs and they just keep doing it, kind of like in Kenshi in a way. And they'll just keep doing those jobs as well as whatever. But then you can, of course, recruit them, which means take control of them, like Kenshi. And so you may direct a store, like for instance, you cut some wood down, they're now on the ground. If you want to, and you can use them while it's there, your guys will go wherever they are. But if you want to put them in a certain area, either you can build shelves and put them on it, or you can build a storage, just an area on the ground that's specifically set for storage, so that your guys will go to the closest place to grab stuff. And they grab stuff when they can from far away to bring it to that closest place. You know, and then they all have different jobs. So the premise of the game is it's a story, and you crash landed on this planet in the rim, a rim world in the rim, the outer edge of the galaxy, and you're kind of trapped there. And so you build whatever you're going to build, and eventually the story is you get off planet. You'll find a spacecraft, and you go there and you go find it, and then you try to repair it and start it up. And while it's starting up, which takes several days, you'll get attacked by other people who want to leave the planet, or at least destroy it, the ship, you know. But like Kenshi, I guess, and Zomboid, it just goes on and on unless you specifically decide to stop it. If you don't find that spaceship with the other, with like Odyssey, the DLC, you can build your own spaceship. So yeah, it's that one in the top left corner of that picture. That's a spaceship. So is the one to the right. And then the other ones are little shuttles you can build now instead of just finding them. And then there's meteors and all, or asteroids you can land on and get resources. Anomaly is another one, um, but we're not going to be using probably either one of these, but we'll do the other ones. Um, so yeah, I mean, you start off with however many people you're going to start off with, whatever scenario you choose, and it's you can gain more people, you can get rid of people, and it's just about surviving. How long can you keep doing it? As for mods, I have quite a few. This is what it's going to look like. One is yellows means they need to be updated, so you can't use them until then. This is ones that I have disabled, Anomaly and Odyssey. I have ones that play it like a D&D type setting, magic and medieval areas. I have one for Napoleonic stuff if I really wanted. Never bothered playing it yet, but I saw this what somebody else is doing, and I thought maybe it would be an in between, because it's weird that you start off with like you can make clubs and axes, and then you're basically making guns, and then laser weapons and stuff. There's not a whole lot of in between. So, and then I like the magic one. It's pretty fun. But we won't be playing that one. Most of the other stuff are quality of life things. I've never gotten this one to quite work for me. I don't think it's even made anymore for 1.6, which is what I have. Yeah, so all of these are basically for that's for making this type of armor and stuff, but it's not updated. And even when I had it before 1.5, I still never got around to making it. But yeah, all these are medieval type stuff you can do. There's this one, which we won't be using this time around, only because I think it might be too much for what we're going to be doing. If I was playing Void or with Void, then I would definitely get it. Void is like one of the hardest. It adds a faction, and it's one of the hardest factions you'll ever come across to fight. They are very hard. I like having them and using them just because once you get, I have let's see, well, let's just go over what I have. This just adds this little bit of armor you can eventually make once you research everything, and it's just kind of cool looking, but really it's nothing amazing. This means like if it rains, all the blood that's usually stays splattered around will go away. Still takes a while, but it does. This gives another trader that sells mechanoids if you're into mechanoids. This is for a deep drill that you can research later on and you run electricity to. Well, this puts a chem fuel engine on it, so that way you can just refill it there and not have to, say for instance, if this whole map is your world and your base is over here and you found a set of ore way over here, instead of having to run power all that way, you just build that. But I've never got it to work. I built them, but just I never figured it out. That's a mod. That's for mods. This just means you can make your guys do. You can get them to do more specific things if you want. Mod stuff. This gives different extra power once you research it, and you can. So instead of a full-on like a solar panel farm, which it does give you solar panels, extra ones, but you can just build a reactor. This is for auto cutting stumps, of course, tree stumps. More traders. Does badge hygiene, allows toilets, bathing, doing different stuff. AC, really nice, really good to have. That's for mods. This supposedly just make your guys be a little smarter, but sometimes it doesn't quite work. This just makes converting, if you're using ideology, a little bit easier to do. You don't have to, or easier to manage, I should say. This just gives you more options before you start your game. Empire is really cool. It allows you to start another, or your faction basically becomes an NPC faction and you can build a settlement. You send guys out, build a settlement. They're not your guys. None of your guys go do it. It's like let's say they're off camera NPCs besides, or off camera pawns that you don't have in your group. They go and build a town. It costs you money and time, and then you can design it however you want to build certain things, and they pay you money or items, and then you can trade with them, or they can expand, or they get attacked and they can all lose, and you have to start off over again on that, with that faction, with that towns and stuff. That NPC faction, I should say, doesn't affect your game per se, like your little village or base that you built. It doesn't affect that, but it gives you more people to help you fight for void, you definitely want to use that. That's another one for storage. Allow tools, same thing as for guy. Make sure guys where you can do them, do more stuff with them. Advanced vat learning means you build a growth vat to put a baby or an embryo in, and this will give them stuff to do and make them their stats a little better. Combat extended is another good one. RimWorld combat overhauls everything, makes it so much better. This E series just adds a couple extra mechanoids that you can't build, you can only find and repair, and it's just added a little bit more to mechs. If the different variants, they do different things, so it's kind of cool. This just means you can do work on things that you don't normally be able to work on. Your guys will have certain skills that they can't do, and there's still eliminates some of that, but other ones you can get around. Another nuclear generators. Gene Ripper is just an item that allows you to take the DNA from somebody that you want to let die, and it'll take some good genes out of it. See, choose the gene to be extracted from a pawn, but it kills them. Gene Trader is just another trader like them. They just have ones that can drop off genes and stuff for you. Gold and silver just means you can create from having coins sitting down in a stack of 500 to silver and gold ingots that take up a lot more of those, take up less space for the same amount of money. This one I like, especially if you're going to fight with Void. This allows you to take out organs as you research stuff and get better tech. Say for instance you find a pawn you're going to kill, you can take out his liver and keep it. As long as it's stored in someplace cold, it'll last forever. Then if your guy loses a liver, you can replace it with that one. What's the same thing with implants that Void guys have? That's what makes them so tough. They have like implants for everything to make them faster in moving, faster in crafting, more intelligent, faster with aiming and reloading. Now have better aiming, everything, stronger, higher strength, things like that. And you can remove those and then put them in your own guys. This is just like it says here, puts labels down there, makes it a little easier so you see what's being affected, so that if you all of a sudden this bedroom changes and all this becomes bedroom, then you know there's something wrong here. In this case, you already know. If the door was gone or whatever, you would know it. But let's say, for instance, this whole thing was your base, this was here, all of a sudden it said bedroom down here, you'd start looking to see where the problem was. If you have 15 bedrooms, there's a problem somewhere. Lights out just helps support, turning off lights and stuff, especially when you're not in the room, it'll turn the light off. This gives different turrets. Expanded framework was for mods. Weapons for tribal, which we don't really need, but because you start off only able to make tribal type weapons, I'm like, at least I have that. Otherwise, all you made is a bow and arrow, a club, excuse me, a club, knife, sword. And this gives you a little more options. This is just for, again, kind of quality of life. Your colonists will more likely to do jobs nearby instead of walking long distances. So start off shorter areas doing stuff. That's for mods, prosthetics, adding different prosthetics you can make. Deck level just changes things look like. More trader ships. Traders have more silver. Some things float. That means if you live anywhere near, like say, a river, then wherever the river starts, sometimes things will appear there. Could be a dead body, could be food, or any type of item, and then you can go get it. A dead body, you'd have no point, no reason for it. But if it's got gear, you can take it. It'll be tainted, but you can still go get it, Or if you're playing in Magic, you could resurrect them or something. Or if it's a good pawn, put them in a freezer, keep them until you get a resurrector serum. Snap out is for helping with your guys get mental breaks. Other people can go there and talk to them and try to get them out of it. Makes it a little bit easier. This is for making special power armor, which I've never once been able to make. So this is for adding more DNA stuff. Deep storage. This is again one of those ones where it's the storage that does certain things. Like this right here is only for these survival meals. Or packaged meals, I should say, that you can create or you can find, but it only holds that. That looks like a weapons locker, only holds weapons, but different types of weapons, whatever you want it. Then you can assign certain other items, certain other shelves to only hold like silver. Another one holds gold. Different things. There are ones that only hold clothes, and that's it. So that helps, separate certain things. And a lot of times if they only hold that one item, they'll hold more of it than, say, a regular shelf that you'll hold anything. Nanotech repair bed. I like this one. Well, repair tech, but it can make a bed or shelves. And what it does is it has nanites that repair whatever's on it. So if you make a bed, your guy goes to sleep, it helps repair their gear. Same thing with shelves. Whatever's stored there will get repaired. Most of the stuff is nothing. Persona Bond Forge means certain weapons and items have persona cores. They have their own intelligence, and they bond to you usually. This allows you to where you can make the persona core, and then you add it to the weapon, and you get yourself persona core or persona weapon, which sometimes does extra things for you. Like say it's a knife. Well, it might make it where you don't have to eat as much, or maybe you walk faster. Just whatever. That's another one. It's just move stuff. Predator hunt alert. That means like if you have an animal out and then a wild animal goes to eat it, you'll get an alert about it before it just attacks. Otherwise, you only know it whenever something's getting attacked. Prison Commons makes it a little easier if you want to have an area to not kidnap, but imprison people. Normally, like without it, this would be the prison. That's it. But Prison Commons, you can build a room outside of this, and they can go in and out of the door. They can eat, bathe, bathroom, whatever they need in a common area. That's still part of the prison. They can't just walk out. Here, they can go in and out of the doors, unless this is not a common area, in which case they're stuck right here. They can't get out of the door until they rebel, and then they can get through any door. This right here allows you to build roads. So if you do the Empire thing, that other one allowed me to build other towns, settlements. Your guys will, once you get the tech and all that, they will start building their own roads. So like from here to here, if there was no roads, none of this was here, it might take you a while to go all through here. But since there's a road, and if it was built, however it was built, your guys get over here really quick. It just puts stuff in front of you, makes it a little bit easier to look at. This just gives more quests. This is just for mods again. This one gives you this little dock mate you can build, and it can do certain things. Kind of like having a medical mechanoid. Has a certain skill. Let's say it's like 5. But if none of your guys have medical, that's the best you can get. And it'll help. Like if you had a guy who's medical of 20, you might still want to have one of these to take care of people that are sick. Have them go there and it'll take care of them. I've built it, but I've never actually used one. I've always just had my own guys do it. Do the medicine. This allows fuses to be built so that if you had, like, say, a generator right here and a lightning bolt hit it or something, or it shorted out, instead of blowing up, it would just hit the nearest fuse and break it. Now, if it's still broken, you don't repair it, and then something else happens, the next one will blow up, so you have to get back and repair it. But these are a little easier to repair than, say, a whole generator would be. And you just build them around. These are batteries, and that's the breaker right there and right there. Solar flare shield, I love, because you get lots of solar flares, and it can last from a day to years of gameplay. You never know. So this, once you research the tech and you build it, takes a lot of power. It'll stop all that from happening. Scar removal plus, just one allows me to remove scars, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, dementia, frailties. Just helps with that. This just changes, like I said, power armor insulation values, make it a little easier. They'll help with cold or hot or whatever. Small solar panels, this is what you can research and build first. The smaller one takes less resources, just has less power. So if that's all you need, you can just build it instead of a big one. And then 4 of them equal that. So it kind of helps there. You know, so if all you needed was an extra 100 points of power, you might just build this instead of trying to not have the, if you had the resources, you build that instead of not having it and not be able to build this one. You know, this here is just basically the same crops you have normally, only there's a winterized version, so they'll grow in winter so that you can always have food. Usually what I do is, like, if these were normal crops and I planted them, I would just build a wall around it, door, then eventually put a ceiling over it, and then put in sun wall lamps to put light there, and then run some water. The problem with it is in the very beginning you don't never make enough water, so you'll end up using it all trying to, you know, water everything. More batteries, lots of different types of batteries that do different things, but mostly made out of different materials. Like that one's probably gold, so if you had a lot of gold and not enough plasteel or whatever, you build one out of gold, you know. This one does this animus tree, which I've never once used, but gives you a little bit of extra bonus to stuff. But anyway, normally you can't build within this whole radius. See this? You wouldn't be able to build anything in there. Otherwise, this tree wouldn't, you wouldn't be able to use the tree. It does help with like moods and stuff. Makes your guys like things a little better. But this gets rid of it so that you can build stuff around it to protect it, things like that. Run and gun does just what it says. Allows you to run and then gun. Normally your guys would run, stop, shoot. Now they can shoot as they're moving away. They'll just be a little slower and a little less accurate. But that does help, and you can toggle it, you know, on or off. Combat extended, again, we had that mod up there. It just gives us more options. This is armor. Got more guns, melee weapons. In Odyssey, you can build a grab ship, which is just a spaceship. Allows you to go up in space, hit asteroids, mine there, build other bases, land back in the planets wherever you want. Well, this is storage. That's the way this is designed. It looks like the ship, so it's all futuristic, but you can make it anywhere, and it holds a lot. It just takes a lot of resources to make, but I like it. The sun lamps, of course, but this is for the wall. Otherwise, they're on the floor. These I just got, haven't used on this one, and then there's the sanguiphage one. Allows you to make more hemophage, or hemogen, I should say, versus just having to take it directly out of a person. Neutroamine, or whatever. It you use that to make other stuff. But anyway, this allows you to make a crop of it, make it a little easier. Like I said, I haven't used this one. A sanguiphage, basically a vampire, genetically designed vampire in a way. You don't like the sun, doesn't really burn you, but you can be out in it, you just don't like it. You have to drink blood, not necessarily from person, you can drink a blood bag. And then you have to rest so long, not every day, but after a certain amount of time, you'll have to, and more wounds, you have to rest to try to get, that all back. But you're faster than normal people. You can shoot a small little needle claw sort of thing out from you. You can jump really far. You're really good with melee weapons. This one is just a mod that allows me to get blood out of animals. Haven't used this one. Almost all of these I haven't used These are all going to be new that I've just found off other people's, watching them play and trying it. But this is supposed to make where if you have anybody allies on the in the map with you, they might come help you. This one just means instead of running to a storage area to get resources, they'll look for whatever's in the nearest person, their inventory of anything. More precepts for ideology, which is basically kind of like religion. It's not exactly that, because it'd be like, say for instance, Buddhism, which isn't technically a religion, as an an ideology. There's nothing to worship there. But then you can make up your own to where you can worship a sanguiphage, a vampire. You can make concrete and vanilla out of steel. This allows you to make it out of rocks. So this just adds for converting. Means your guy will automatically keep trying to convert something instead of you forgetting about it. MedPod gives you some other way of diagnosing stuff, medical beds. Quarry means instead of having to go find stone, dig in a mountain, you can now put it in the ground, but it will dry up eventually, and then you move on. I think you fill this back in, remove it, but I don't know if you can like remove it when it's empty and then build another one back. I don't know. I've only used it like once, and that was the medieval one playthrough I did. There's no videos of it, but when I played the game, I haven't played since before I did my Project Zomboid videos, if you're familiar with those. No, and then after that was the Kinchi, and they're still going. So it's going to be a while for this one sees anybody. Haven't used this one, but allows you to help with like bioweapons and stuff, or persona weapons type things. Traders have more money. This gives glitter tech, more different stuff you can make with, I don't know, never used it. Although ideology expanded, haven't used that one. Guns galore, more of them. And hemogen vats that can store hemogen so you can have more of it instead of just a few bags somewhere. So that's what we're going to play through here. We're only using biotech, ideology, royalty, and the core. And most of it, like royalty, I don't really. If we were going against Void, I would definitely use these. But without Void being here, this is not that big a deal. But I guess we'll take them. Anyway, and this is what the game will start up. Now, if you're looking for mods, go here, get mods from. You do it. You either do it from there or from your Steam. Here, just open that up. Anyway, and then go from there. You go to workshops, and then you do that for every one of your games. Just go to your library from the main Steam, and then you pick whatever game you're looking for, and then go to each game's workshop, and you'll have mods. Just pick whichever version. I'm at 1.16 or 1.16. So or I should say 1.6. That's where I'm at. Yes. That's why when I clicked earlier on something, I was looking for something before the video started, clicked here and there was nothing, because there is no 0.16 of anything anymore. It just didn't occur to me until just now. This is my second attempt at a video, and the first one kept messing up, and the screen wouldn't load up here. Well, it kept loading up on my other monitor, which is up this way. And so with Alt-Enter, I was able to see a small little bit of it right here. And that's it. And then I just expanded out till I could see it, but I couldn't figure out why it was going there when it never did that before. So I just unplugged the old monitor, the other monitor, the TV. Anyway. And then it, worked, because I don't even use it anyway. Okay, anyway. Well, then you decide from here which one you want to do. Now, from this are mods, magic stuff, which we don't have. So we can't use that one. This one is another one from a mod, but that's only used for, I'm only using that one on when we do magic. Anyway, and then you can, we don't have any custom ones. Sanguiphage, like I said, that's a cool one. It's a little challenging because you have to have blood, but you start off with one other colonist, which you can get blood from because they worship you. And so they'll be okay with you taking their blood, but nobody else will. And eventually, if all you have is 2 guys and you have to go rest, do your death rest is what it's called, then you only have 1 colonist during that whole time. You know, so it's better if you can get a lot more colonists, but you know, you do whatever happens. But he would definitely help with fighting against the Void. Void guys are way tougher than any Sanguiphage. However, at least gives you something. You know, gives you a guy who can jump out of the way if he needs to. Does a little more damage and melee. You know, so you can give him a sword. Eventually, you know, maybe a Zeus hammer or something, which you'll see in the game what those are. But other than that, there's no real point to making one. And if you're going to do a Sanguiphage, I would do a whole ideology that make your guys cannibals. That way, anybody you do come across and kill, you can just eat them. That way, you'll always have food, and you won't have to worry about it. You can drink the blood, eat the food. You know, I mean, you might as well, because a lot of people don't like Sanguiphages. So other pawns for other factions will have a negative attitude towards you. They maybe still trade with you and stuff. It just means they'll have a point or something that's negative about that. Yeah. But since we're not doing Void, I would definitely not do this under Void. But yeah, they're all difficult. You know, you got 3 crash landed survive. That's the normal one. Mechanitor is what you control mechanoids, you know, robots. And so that's a good one too. Robots don't need to eat, but they do need to re-energize, recharge their batteries. So you have to have power for that, and that creates waste, which can pollute the area, make you sick, kill your crops, things like that. So you got to be careful of that. If you're gonna play someplace cold, that'd be okay because everything outside might freeze all the time, and in which case you can put the waste outside. They'll stay frozen. Now they still deteriorate, but at a slower rate. In some cases, you know, since they're outside. But then you put them under a roof of something, and then they'll stop deteriorating, which we'll see more of in the actual gameplay. But I guess we'll do crash landed. Then you go here, you decide which AI storyteller you want. Want peaceful, unity builder. I like strive to survive. So we'll do that. We'll do reload anytime, just because there's no point in playing not on a how-to on not being able to play again. But anyway, you pick whoever you want, whatever they want. We'll go with this one. And then whatever you want. Everything's normal, population normal, pollution is low. Anyway, and then you can decide which, if you don't like the insectoids, you don't want to play them, you can get rid of it completely. You don't want mechs, you can get rid of that. You might still have random mech things show up, but any hives won't be there. And you can add more bad guys, more good guys, whatever you want. I don't care, so we'll just take it with that. And then this is just telling you exactly what's being loaded up, generating the world. Now here's the planet. There are all the different factions. And then you see, like, that's a road. Rivers, lakes. That says an ocean, even though it's inside. That would be an ocean. And everything has different areas. So, like, that's tundra, and it'll tell you what you can do there. What you want is a place that has no pollution, no nearby pollution, some rainfall, forageability. You know, you want it to be good. See down here, 100%. But then you look at stone types. Granite, sandstone. Sandstone is really weak. Granite, marble are hard. Marble is also pretty. Limestone, sandstone. Granite, slate, and limestone. Slate's kind of pretty but dark. Marble and slate. So it depends on. And you can build, there's mountains. So if you zoom in, see, it's got pollution. That's what that is, pollution. There's desert, forest, boreal, temperate, swamp. These are rocks. Or it's forest, but that's like mountain area. So WASD moves you around the map. If you build on a road, makes it easier and quicker for enemies to get to you, but also makes it easier for you to get around everywhere. Excuse me. You build near an enemy faction, then more likelihood them fighting you or attacking you. But if you build away from everybody, like say out here, it'll be harder for you to get anywhere to trade. So everything's a toss-up. And then you got snow. Get out there, there's nothing but snow and ice, no trees, no nothing. Oh, an island. Another one there. There's no safe places. You'll get attacked anywhere, but randomly. But at least, like, if you picked here, you wouldn't have, or if you say you picked here, you'd have these guys possibly constantly fighting you. So temperate forest is the best all-around general area to build. And then just hit terrain, and it tells you what's all there. But I like granite, and I like to have marble. Granite, marble. Try here. Marble, limestone, wait, no. Slate, granite, marble. What this means is that there's going to be rocks on the ground. There's not going to be mountains. That will have a mountain there. Something you can dig into, which is both good and bad. Easy way to build a base, just find a mountain, you dig 2 blocks in, put a door at one of those blocks. The first blocks, now you have a home. See, and there's bad guy right there. Troubled district. Nikolai's mortars. I don't know who they are. Oh, that's what it is. But that's where a lot of insects. You can get into a cave and then they can burrow up and break through. So, like I said, nothing is safe. They like pollution too. Now, if you built, say in the snow, or way up here, you don't worry about insects. They won't break through. But then there's nothing there. See? No animals can graze, no forageability, never growing. There's some pollution. So, all depends on what you want to do, how you want to play. We're going to go right here next to the water. Okay, now, this is if you have ideology going. You know, this is, you know, the presets for different ones you want. Let's say, for us, say we did this one. Well, you want a human body can be enhanced. What that means is that there's people who don't, pawns, I want to say, that don't like prosthetics, and there's some that do like them. So if like one loses an arm and you didn't like prosthetics, you put one on him so you can make him useful, he's going to hate that. He's going to have problems. Now, you have to spend more time making them happy, keep them from having a mental breakdown. While somebody who wants to advance with their body will love the prosthetic. He'll want you to do even more. But that means if you don't have any implants or anything, he'll be unhappy until then. You know. But say this one, nudists, they don't like clothes. Dark humans. You got cannibals. And the blood worshippers that like blood feeders. And if you end up getting a sanguiphage to join you, you can do this. But if you don't have one, then it's kind of pointless. And then usually most of bloodsuckers don't join you unless you capture one when you find one and then make them join you. Otherwise, those are all the same. Extreme disruptive beliefs. So you got pleasure extremist. And so you can make your own. It does to make, but there's always something, usually bad things that go with it too. So like this one is for age, but the older they get, the worse their body is, more likely them dying of old age and stuff. Yeah, so you got to figure out what you want. I know you're always better off with enhancements, so I don't do the purest at all. You know, this one is for drugs. You want to do that. Hive, kind of the same thing where it can. It's a collectivist type thing, but it has different different aspects to it. We'll go with Unity Family, I guess. Or maybe Transcendent Humanists, which is great because it's all about humans, but that means anybody else, imps, Neanderthals, those won't, they won't like it as much. Yeah, and I usually just pick whatever pawn I can get that's got good stats. I'll take them. I don't like to pick and choose. Anyway, let's try this one. Let's see. Actually, kind of like this one. Or this one. Yeah, we'll go that one. Yeah, okay. So these are the ones you would get, and these, it's random. Um, and so you can, there's no real leader. I mean, unless you decide that you particularly want to be one, you can change the name. So if you feel like you want to have your character um, be that, then yeah, that's the nickname they'll have. And then their traits. That's not a very good one, but it's not all that bad. As you can see, his cooking is good, gives him plus 4 points. Doesn't mean it's over here is good, which he can't cook for some reason, which is weird. But that's how the random thing works. But his hunger rate's high. Like I say, this one's not that, so he doesn't have that same hunger rate. But she has creepy breathing. But see the age? 961 means like they were, see, chronological age, which means they were probably in a crypto sleep cryogenic chamber. And that's what they look like, but that's how long they were in. Like, he was only 92. So if we pick the one about age, she would be the one. To be the main. But anyway, see, cannibal. Cannibal's good as long as everybody's a cannibal. Otherwise, it's not so good. Slowpoke means they're slow. Trigger happy is good because they'll shoot quicker, but their aiming won't be as good. So we don't want him at all. Night owl, unhygienic. That's kind of bad. But night owl means he's up at night, so you always have somebody awake. The other guys will be awake during the day. He'll be happiest if he stays up at night. I think I'll probably get rid of her. I don't like chemical fascination. Lazy is definitely not good, but brave is. But see, you definitely want incapable of violent. That means he can't attack anything, so he won't help you at all. Incapable of intellectual and artistic. See, the higher the number, the better. It means the only thing he can do is build. And he can mine. He's good at that. But really, without being able to do anything else, if he was incapable of violent, that's fine. If he could good like intellectual, then you could just have him researching all the time. That's all he would do. But he's not. Jealous is also bad unless you put this person as like kind of one of the top people. But capable of skilled, caring, and social. I mean, all she can do is fight. So yeah, we're still not doing so good. Optimus and greedy. Mining of 15, but his mining is 12. So really it's not double passion, but so is his. Intellectual 6, social 6, construction 7, construction 4. Bad back though. That's a problem. So yeah, not her either. Slow learner, that's bad, but the other ones are worse, in my opinion. See, the skills suck, but crafting and mining means double burning passion means, see, if you go to the global learning factor and the learning speeds and all that, they'll get double passion is better than 1. Let's see, learning speed 8.8, 25%, 38%. So you want doubles on everything. But it's better to be doubles and low numbers than have no passions and higher numbers, because this will build up quick. In the beginning, there's not a whole lot you need being built, really fast and really well. Because you like this for crafting, you can just craft a bunch of low level stuff and then sell it and get his points up quick. Piece 15. But we need a cook. He's good at crafting and melee, so we're good with that. Mining, fine. So right now, all we need really is intellectual, but his an hygienic. So what if we randomize that? Just this one. Pretty brawler, germaphobe. All this means is that the germaphobes that wash more frequently instead of being out working all the time. Capable of mining, that's fine because we have other miners. But other than melee, it's got really nothing. And this one is the father of Manu. So, oh no, that's the father. Yeah, 50. I was about to say because 56 and this guy's 19. I don't know. Let's randomize this one. See what we got. Capable of C, and capable of. You don't want to capable of too many things, but intellectual 8. But all they can do is fight and research. Let's try them. Industrious, those are good. Capable of dumb labor, I'm fine with that. And social, we can do it with somebody else. Artistic's good. Animals, I'd rather have plants, but at least he's got a passion in it. Well, we need to replace this one. I like the night owl. I like the skill, but unhygienic. People won't like that, and they'll be unhappy. I'm not much of a big artistic. To me, artistic, I make a few statues, stuff, make things a little prettier, and then I sell the rest of it. That's it. That's the only thing I come up with on that. Industrious though, so he'll be faster on working. So we could gain that mining up, not as fast as this guy will gain it up, but. Okay. Problem is we don't have anybody who can cook, so there's a chance that they'll not do so well in food. Okay. Well, her name is not going to be Harry anymore. You can get rid of it and they'll just call her that. And some of them will be like the last name, we'll call them by that. So it just kind of depends on what you want. Alb. Randall. Yeah, we need a better name than that. Super immune, tough, soldier. let's call them X-ray. Didn't mean to do caps locks. X-ray. All right. Well, there's other things you can do. You can prepare carefully, and that gives you everything, however you want to change. And you have points, and that's it. So you can do certain things, but like get rid of that bad back. Torso so frail. How about we change the age? I'm 34. Get rid of that. But we can give him asthma to make up for those other things. Bite scar on his nose. There. But yeah, but you can change this however you want to do it. But that's all we're going to do. And change with the relationships. Whatever you want to do. Different equipment. Okay. Takes a while to get the map going. Sometimes. Okay. Anyway, so this is what you start off with. That is from the mod for the your faction. We don't have any. Anyway, you start off just like this. This is the area you live in. See, there's the water. That's deep water you can't walk in. This is short water. I believe, yeah. And the animals light up. Anything in red is a bad guy. So let's look around. Generally, you want to stay in the middle of the map because, well, nothing's going to come over this way. You know, they might come out through here, but they're not going to form out here in the deep water because they can't move that way. So you're going to look around. See, there's a building out there. It's an ancient danger, probably. What that is an old, like, crypt. Let's call it that. That has people, the ancients, people who were around, you know, 1,000 years ago or something. They'll be in there sleeping in crypto caskets, and if you go in, disturb them, they get up, and they're always enemies. Sometimes they might, like, as soon as they get up, they might, like, pass out from crypto castic sleep sickness. Otherwise, they get up and they got good weapons, and they, you know, fight you. They'll fight everybody around. They're enemies to everybody because they were the ones that supposedly, like, Lord, that maybe originally lived here, and they don't like anybody else living there. Anyway, this is resources, compacted steel. And of course, click there. You got slate, compacted plasteel. There's some marble. These are ruins. You can remove these, break these down by hitting deconstruct, or you can claim it and it becomes a part of your stuff, and then you can use this if you want to, you know, finish up the walls, build a couple of doors. Now you have a room. You know, but like this, there's nothing to it. But if you were building granite, you can just build off of here. It's an old landing pad that you can deconstruct a lot of the stuff. These things you can even you can't deconstruct them, but you can shoot at them and blow them up, and then take the resources whenever they're blown up. Things like the sarcophagus you can't do anything with. Um, but like it gives limestone, so if you break it down, you'll get limestone blocks. There's some jade, uranium. See, that's just sandstone. See, it's got 420, but marble 450, and this is just basic. Slate 500. Compacted plasteel 8,000, but you can't build out of that. Concrete wall 600. Marble. Compact machinery. More marble. Steel. Gold. See, tons of resources here. Then you got the chunks on the ground. These are all good for, and that's the percentage how much it is. That means it's only got 78% of it left, so you need to repair it to 100%. But this would make a good already built temple. You know, you get rid of a few things, because each one of these, if you hold Alt, the area will give you the number. Like that's a -1 rough marble. If you go here, sandstone column, 6% beauty, or 6 points of it, I should say. You know, see the beauty 0.6. While that's 21, that's 21 for each of those 4 blocks right there. See, so it gives you beauty, what you want. That you can deconstruct. That you shoot at and deconstruct. More steel. So once you run out of steel and resources here, if you have a deep well and a scanner, you can find other resources that might appear at random at different times that you can find and you can use. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to another map area. And steel's only 300. Steel, certain things can burn too. Stone doesn't burn very well, but it does. Steel does burn. So you don't really want to build out of steel if you can help it. But yeah, so the only thing I don't see here, most of the time, whatever map you spawn in at, there will usually be, there it is, yep. See, it's got a mechanoid transponder, allows you to drop a mechanoid, mechanoid chip down, which will have a dead mechanator on it, so that if you want to make your own mechanator, mechanitor, whatever you want to say, you can remove that mine link and implant it in somebody else, and they will start their own. And you can start making mechs once you research mechs. You know, so just because you didn't pick one mechanator, it doesn't mean you don't get one. Same thing with the sanguiphage. But anyway, yeah. So this you definitely need to get through as quickly as soon as possible. However, you need to make sure you can survive it. So you need to be pretty tough and have a good armor on at least, and a place to put these guys if you do capture them. You want a place to put them so that you can possibly get them if they're good. Sometimes they got great stats. Usually have great gear. But stat-wise, they'll be just like anybody else, you know. Could be good, could not be. Ancient Generator doesn't do anything for you other than get you parts. So you'd want to deconstruct everything. But anyway, so yeah, if you start off this in the map, that means they have to come the same distance every way to get to you. You know, so like we'd want to start like up here probably. I think we're going to take maybe this over. But we don't want our temple being this far south, so maybe what we'll do is just build a small little section here that eventually becomes something else, but just sleep in there for now. Or since we don't need a temple right away, we could just put wood in here, wall this off, have a room to stay in, because it's going to get dark, and you want to be inside before that. You don't want to sleep on the ground in the night because your guys get unhappy. And the more unhappy they are, more it stacks up, more likelihood of them having a mental break, and then you lose control of them. Sometimes they can kill your other people. They can kill themselves by doing too many drugs. They can smash all your stuff. You never know. Vases, urns, it's good to keep those around and put those in your buildings because they help. See, 6 points. Different ones have different stats. So, marble being better than the others. But whatever we build here is going to be wasted. We're not going to use it again. I usually prefer to build the same area and build everything as one big compound. That way I'm not wasting anything and I have to tear it apart again. However, you do want to make something as quickly as possible. In this case, there's already some wood here. You start off with it. So we're going to take all that and make it allow. Everything that's an X. I want it all to be allowed to pick up. That way your guys will pick it up. Now, that's just a log of everything he does. No big deal. Anyway, this is the HUD, the Rim HUD I have add-on or mod. Gives all these things, shows you all your stats. Affected by cryo sleep sickness, just like I was telling. Anyway, you want to come up here, and I prefer attack because I don't want my guys necessarily fleeing from anybody. I want them fighting. Especially this guy, he will go over here and we will hit equip. Then him, let's see, shooting a 2, melee a 2, shooting a 3, melee a 3. So we will equip. You equip that. So we'll start doing that first. Then we got a dog. Anyway, that's our food. That's a book. So it does different things, Like this is a masterwork, so it'll do a lot for us. But see, recreation game multiplier. So if we go back to X-ray, we're social. This is, we're friends with our 2 guys. They'll add stuff on there. Here's our gear. See, without combat extended, you won't have ammo. You'd just be able to shoot with whatever weapon, except you wouldn't have this weapon because this is one's been added. So it's got its bonuses and detriments. Anyway, we go here and then we hit, we don't want that. We want it to reload. No? There he goes. He was doing something. Still didn't do anything. Oh, see, there he goes. It was reloading. It just took forever. Yeah, so once you draft, which is when you can control them, then you can move them, undraft them. But drafted, their mood goes down. But anyway, you just go through and this gives you all the main stats again, just like down here. Health shows all that. And see these things, if you go here, because Crypto Sleep's sickness and the right arm. Same. And then you operate, whatever you want him to do. harvest, extract hemogen, different things right there, which we'll go over as you play. But anyway, this will be where you start. So then if we go this way, hit allow. You can also select similar, so it'll find anything else that there is around, which there isn't, and it'll select that too. So anyway, that's what I do, is I first click on things like that. I would try not to like pick up anything real far away, you know, like this, not yet, because you don't want your guys going that far. You want to stay. Okay, so that's a mod I have called urgently. So it'll grab it first, except there's no storage space set aside for it because we don't have anything set up. So what I'm going to do then is go here, go to architect, and then go to structures, hit wall, and it gives you whatever you have the option of building out of, whatever's close by. We're going to say wood. Now it says not enough. That's because we have no stores. None of this is set aside. So we're going to go here, here, and I'll build a door right there. Yeah, then go to door, pick whatever you want. Right now we're just going to do straight up on wood. Go here, we'll claim, select similar, claim, table, claim. It's steel, which we definitely want some steel, so eventually we're going to get rid of this, but for right now it's fine. Now if I wanted to move it, I'd hit uninstall, the guy to come up here, put it into its uninstalled minified version, and then it would move it to wherever I wanted to place it. We will deconstruct that, and we don't need to deconstruct this yet. These guys, boomalopes, they blow up if you kill them. So you got to make sure you don't do that unless they're well away. You can still harvest them and get food out of them, but if he blew up, you shot him, blew up, might kill them, and if it's enough damage, it could destroy whatever's left. So the whole body could be gone, and it could destroy other things. So you want to make sure if you do fight them, they're away from whatever it is you want to save. So we have that as far as building goes. Now we're going to go with this, and we are going to go with storage, or no, zone, and then do a stockpile zone. And we're going to do this right here. Okay, then we'll go to storage, and we will allow all, but we will go preferred, because you can change that to however you want. And it means like if it's preferred and then I build one that's critical, it'll fill up the critical one before the preferred one. So that's what that means. And then here you can change everything however you want it to. You want it to only do meals, and if that you only want it to do baby food, you can, and that's all that'll go there. So we do that, then we come here, select similar, move that, and then we want all of this stuff to get moved to. For right now, we're just going to move it all urgently, do the same stuff, all urgently. We just want this, well, all urgently, to get to our base. And we will uninstall that, uninstall. That'll give the guys something to do. Everything else can kind of wait. We have medicine, otherwise that's wild heal root, and that'll you can use that to heal you for anything. I would do harvest fully grown. See what it says, give you their experience grown to yield their maximum amount. We'll do that first, and then we'll worry about stone, because there's no point in moving stones until you can build a stone bench to start cutting them into blocks. Otherwise, they are useless to you. Well, they'll slow you down. If you walk over them, your guy will slow down. He'll usually walk around. So if you put them like a whole line of them and put your guys back here, and they're fighting somebody, they're shooting at them, and they have melee, and they'll run after you. They'll have to cross the blocks, which means they'll slow you down. They'll slow down, and you can move your guys back and keep shooting them. So they are good to have around, but for the most part, you want them being used to make blocks. But yeah, that's all as far as important goes. You want to stay away from here, because once you get here, you'll activate this. And if you don't want that going, there's no point in activating it. And you also, your guys can walk around. They won't break in there because there's no way to get in unless you specifically tell them to break through. But other than that, there's nothing else. It's a cougar, so if it gets hungry, it could attack you. Otherwise, it'll leave you alone for the most part. But we're not really worried about food so much right now. It's going to be shelter. Anyway, so go to work. I prefer to control it, so it'll give a priority. I prefer to fight fires, and if you're wounded, take care of yourself first in fighting fires. After that, it goes with whoever has skills. You know, like he's got a 7, so that's important. But he's got and they both have a passion for it, but his is only 3. So we can do a 4 on that one. That was only a 3, so we'll keep it as a 4. Just so if these two get hurt, she will do something. But other than that, we're going to leave it alone. Those two will be let's make that a 3. Bed rest, we'll do 4. Hauling for now, we want high up. That way they'll take care of everything. This is haul urgently versus regular hauling, which is down here. We don't need any research right now done because we don't have a research table. But we want our guys to haul, and then we want them to construct. So for right now, we're going to go, that's 0, and then a 2. Construct. See, even though it's red, and their skill's low, it means, but they will still build. They might fail, but they'll still do it, just like this one. We want them to keep doing it. Everything else can kind of go away. 3s are fine. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Let's go 2 on those. Okay, well, let's see what they're doing. Yep, see them? Now they're grabbing stuff. What's he doing? He's going to uninstall those. Yeah, he's still sick from the cross sickness, so 2 hours left of that. So what we're going to do is fast forward time. Yeah. See, I did those because I want them up here. See, botched it. We're going to chop that tree down. I want everything right here so I can move it inside. That's clean. We don't need that. We're going to deconstruct it. Now, because he's already working on it, we're just going to do that. Now he'll change. Instead of repairing it, he'll remove it. Okay, so now we need to line. And let's go with, right now we'll just do a sleeping spot. Just do that. Those are automatically there because it's just a spot, otherwise they'd have to build it. And now at least they got beds. So we're going to, they also want, if you hit E, changes the rotation. They'll also want bed and tables. So we do that. That's good. So let's check something. So like this. Needs. Unsightly environment. See, -1. darkness, there's no light. Now there's a roof over this. Yeah, but each of these will tell you different things, and then you'll add more and more. Like him, minor pain, ate without a table, because he already ate, even though we have one now, we have a table. Yeah. And then you actually see what it is. Bladder means they're going to want to go pee, so you're going to need to build a latrine here soon. It's been a while since I played, so I have to remember hygiene. Yeah. So let's go latrine. I guess. Build a latrine right there. That's fine. A bit of a well right there, just to get that going. And then we have all these different things here to build. Stone cutter table, which you can do, but that requires steel. Well, let's say wooden. So now to build it, 30 steel, 75 wood. If we decided we wanted to build steel, 105 steel. So if you build it in a quarry, 100 steel. Mini quarry, 50 steel. 75 steel, 100 steel. But we don't have the steel yet. So anyway, this is the most important part, and then we can take these and we will install one for now right there. So this, see, impressiveness awful, -2, impoverished wealth, space. Let's see what happens. There he goes. Awful -3, impoverished 330. So it does change, you know, what's going on there. See, gives 5 points, while these are all -6, so it's still in the negatives. But you can put a floor in, and that'll help. Go to orders. You can't smooth that, but you can smooth the walls to make them look a little prettier. There's other mods that allows you to pack down the dirt to make it just a little bit nicer, but I don't bother. I just make floors. But see, if you go here, deteriorating, unroofed, outdoors. We need this stuff inside. You want to put everything as much inside. Anything that can, like this, can't deteriorate. So it's fine staying outside. But you want as much inside as you can. So we will go here to architect. Let's go zone. And then we will do, let's see. Or orders, I mean, yeah. Chop wood. So I like to remove all the trees around an area that I live, because I don't want them catching fire and then burning whatever else down. And then I choose areas that, like here, where I'm probably not going to do anything. And then I'll let them, or like way out here, I might choose that and then let them regrow later. So do that. Yeah, and then we will go ahead and build wall out here. Now I used to have one that was a mod that said to replace. It was to replace things. You could just go over this like that, and then it would replace that with whatever the new item is. But the mod stopped being updated. But anyway, these are fences. The only thing you can do is really construct them. Now, if we had animals and wanted to keep them up, we would leave that fence there. But we don't. And I'm not going to remove these yet because I may end up, I don't think so. I think I'm probably going to build down here. But I've had stuff that was based so big that it would take up all of this area. There we go. Now go back to wood. And go here, down. Now there's not enough wood to build all this, so they'll have to chop down trees. But your guys will build as much as they can with what they have. And then they'll do whatever jobs are first before they go back. And also schedule. If your guys are night sleepers, then you'll want to put the sleep schedule right in there. Wherever you want them to sleep, they'll have a certain time frame that they want to sleep at. I usually keep it to this: sleep and then anything. Let them decide if they want to pray or meditate or play games or whatever. And then they'll do whatever jobs, and in the middle of working jobs, they'll do their recreation, whatever they need to. So I leave that alone. Let's see. So we need to do recreation. Horseshoe pin only takes 10 wood. That's one of the first things to build, and gives you guys a recreation, which they're gonna need and they're gonna want. There's lots of jobs to do. So like one of the most important ones would be research, but there's other things you need to have a base. You know, you guys need to be ready for the things. Like this is way too big to be our refrigerator for our food. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy settings. Then we're going to go to architect, to zone, stockpile zone. Go right in here, do that. Click this, paste settings. Go here and delete. Now everything will be inside there. And eventually this will be our refrigerator once we start cooking stuff. So let's do that, that. Do all that. Move it all in, so at least it's inside. See, if I wouldn't have claimed it, they wouldn't be working on it, but we need the walls to be up in case we're attacked, so I'm going to let them just keep doing what they're doing. That's fine. This is Steam Geyser, which you can use to either later on get technology to build energy or a way to make heat so that your guys won't freeze. I prefer to stay, usually a lot of times when I play a real game, I play someplace that's a little colder than hot. That way all I have to worry about is staying warm instead of having to worry about staying warm and then staying cool. You know, I find it's much easier to worry about one thing than it is to worry about two. But planning food is also really important in the beginning to do that too. That's why I usually, when I play, I make a cannibal. Make cannibals, that way we'll kill the people that come around. Yeah. So there's a start. We need them to finish up what they're doing here. Now yep, there we go. Once we start cutting down stuff and we start getting wood in here, then we'll build other stuff. Okay. So now we need to secure one door to come in. So we're going to build a little airlock for now. Another wooden door. Steel doors are better than wooden and definitely stone doors. Stone doors are slow, so you want to keep that out. You don't want to use stone at all except for walls. And then if you're going to do something like this, yeah, your outer wall should be your outer one should be your stronger one. And then so that'd be the one you replace first with a better one, and then move this way. Okay, so now we need to worry about power. We have generators. We have the chem fuel one, but we can't make chem fuel. So building a chem fuel generator would be worthless. That's for building power to a faction or from a faction. So we can't use that one yet. Wind turbine is the easiest, because you don't have to do anything else as long as there's wind, but there has to be wind. In this case, moderate breeze heading southeast. Now, I don't think the direction you put this matters, even though it says it right there. You know, and I'm guessing maybe it does, like right now, if I put it this way, it might make less power because it's going this way, the wind. We want it behind it. This way it's going north, but the wind changes. So either way, so it's usually I build them, when I do build these, I build them all them in different directions. One this way, one that way, that way, that way. And then I just build them places where, and then I build walls around it to protect it. But I'm not going to build way out here and then build a wall around it and have to walk all that way to it. I mean, and then what you do is, as long as there's, you can put crops in there too, and they can grow in the same space. See the two squares? That's front and back. That's got to be open, so you can't have a roof on it. That's usually why I don't usually put crops in there. It's because you can't have a roof. But I'll put in like solar panels. They'll go in there. But anything bigger, you know, like a generator, it'll block the fan of this, the windmill part of it. And then if you put it here, and then I build a wall, whether I build a wall around it or not, you would have to connect it from here all the way this way to where you need the power. So usually I just put them, you know, wherever I'm going to build crops. Like in this case, it's either mud or possibly fertile area, but I don't see a whole lot more of it. So when we do build, we'll probably build south because we want to go to here. But I may like put one right here or one down here, and then use this as a wall to protect around this one, because I don't want them in the same area, in the same room. And like this will end up being covered up. I'll have to redesign it and make it look a little more symmetrical and pretty. Not that it matters, the actual, that part of it doesn't, it's what's inside it. It's what really matters and what it's made of. But this way it'll connect to here and give them power in here, and then I can attach stuff from there. But we don't really need power right now. It's not as important as getting an area more secure. I don't like, a lot of people build and will take out the corners because the wall still connects. I just don't care the way it looks, so I like build straight on. But if it was someplace resource, when you didn't have any resources, you may want to skip that part. But we need light in here. Let's see, these are packaged survival meals, so they're not deteriorating at all. The medicine isn't either right now, but eventually it will. And then if you look over here, you got what hour it is. There's also temperature, like that's 54. Now it's indoors 61. Clear skies, wind. In the months, it's a yearly calendar, but it's 2 months, April and May. So each month is 2 together. But that's now us and the map. Any quests you have appear there, which we don't. Research, you already have certain things. Furniture, clothing, cooler. We've got electricity, concrete, concrete, air conditioning, nutrient paste. See, and then building your starship to get off. That's this one. So this is not the same as the Odyssey with the grav ship. That's a different setup. Anyway, advanced power. There's how many points it takes to do. And those take a long time to get to. We have plumbing, heating, central heating, electric pumps. You know, septic tanks are good for, like I said, in sewage treatment to keep your areas clean. Multi-split air conditioning is really good. It allows you to build an air conditioner in one room and have a cooler for it where it gets its cooling from outside, where it's instead of in the wall like the normal one is, and then it can supply several different AC units. You know, and all you got to do is put plumb the air conditioning, toilets, showers, wells. You get more water, all that stuff. Here's the Empire. Like I said, that was our main. This is Autopsy, which is that one that gets you your organs. So yeah, it's a basic one, and then all the ones. This is that turret one. This is the nanotech shelving and bed thing. That's the road one that I have. Wow, that is from the Empire. This is the the fuse one, the shielding. That's important. Batteries. Improved batteries, just a little better version of the regular batteries. Means it probably takes the same amount, maybe a little bit more resources, but it's a little more improved. So it's a little better than one of them. Normal one. Glitter Tech Research. See, you make different things for that. Then Guns Galore, Bronze Age. We probably won't do any of this one because this we'll still get it from over here. This will just give us more options. So like we click that. Imperial Age melee weapons. Well, it'll tell us sometimes. Industrial tools. In this case, it's not telling us much of anything, but yeah. Goes up to modern, so you can do different things. If you want other weapons, but we'll get them the other way too. Wildlife just tells you everything in the area. You can tame it or you can kill it. You can pick and choose, like if you want all the guinea pigs dead, you can do them. It'll also tell you if there's any bad ones. You know, mega sloth and rhinoceros, if you attack them, more likely them attacking you back. This is for doing whatever, so I can attack, then change it to where they only wear certain things and set these outfits up. However you want it. Default settings where you can change it. Same with foods, drugs. So we got social drugs, so we're going to say no, no, no. And there we go. Anyway, that's the start of this one. We'll continue with at least one more video of doing more things. Teach you a few more stuff on building. and then we'll go from there. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's appreciated, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.